Now we will take questions. We'll answer the questions in the chat. The first one, by the way, thank you, Aida. We look beautiful and wonderful. Thank you. What about low self-worth and same attracting same wound? Yeah, so low self-worth. So it's from the belief system. So let's say I believe I worth less than other people.
For what?
How can that be even possible?
What measure?
Who's measuring there? So we are worth a creator who was perfect in his absolute, and he took the time to create us, to bring us to life in this form and shape. We worth an infinite. We worth the absolute to the creator. It's only our mind. It's only our belief system which is lying to us, telling us that we are worthing less than we do actually. But when that happens in the relationship or in life, it is very important to be conscious of it. All right, I have a belief, I have a negative belief that I worth less. What do I do? The first is to become aware of it. And the second is when it happens, because it will happen, it will transform in actions. So that belief, it's kind of like a little demon there on the shoulder, and it will tell us, do this now, do this now, do this now. So when we spot that belief telling us, do this now, then we are conscious and say, no, I'm not going to do that now. Because I know my self-worth. Yeah. And although I created this negative belief about myself, I know what's my worth. And then I'm going to take an action of a queen, of a goddess, not of the little child which believes that is not worth or is not good enough.
And even if you're aware of this, sometimes it's still kicking. For example, the concrete example again, I like concrete example. It happened just before the webinar. He has actually this wand of love self-worth, Alex. In a way, it's like humiliation.
Oh, yeah, I have this. Yeah, I'm not good enough. For me, it's I'm not good enough.
Yes. Yeah. And it always shows in a way, because, for example, he did something today. So he sent basically the link to a group with no information whatsoever. And I said something, and he felt like he was not good enough, because I said, how can you send something? No time, no date, nothing else, just throw a link like that. And basically, I corrected the mistakes. Here again, mistakes. The pattern of being not good enough, so I can remind him that he's not good enough.
Yeah, and I remind myself that she's French and complaining all the time. So yeah, it does happen to us every single day, and that's why we are having this webinar, so that we share with you the way we deal with it.
It's part of the game.
And the way I dealt with it, because I didn't have time to go into my room and do some breathing, I actually asked her, can you actually tell me something that I did good today? Because there are 5 minutes to the webinar, and kind of like, and then she told me, and she gave me a hug, and then I felt good again, because again, these are in the physical body. My pain was here, around here, so I could feel it. And I didn't hide it. Oh, I'm tough man. I don't feel anything.
Well, men are not supposed to cry, not supposed to feel any emotions.
Men don't cry. Men don't have emotion. We're tough. And no, I was vulnerable, and I asked for a hug, and here I am. I kept without having these emotions like tormenting me from inside. All right, let's have a look at the questions.
So then, Aida, how can I identify my wound, and how can I work with it? So to some extent, we have all the wounds. The one what we mentioned, we have all of them, but in different measure, different percentage in a way.
Yeah.
So with your triggers, we'll find out. With some situation, for example, with your lover, of people you live with around, figure out if you get triggered, try to find out what is behind this trigger. How do you actually feel? And then you will find out the one that is the most predominant in you.
Yeah, and I can spam you with around 4 books about the wounds. So if you send your email address, and if you want, I can put you the books. Lise Bourbeau, discovering, I don't remember the title, something about the wounds. And then for women and for men as well, it's a woman who loved too much. And that is describing with examples like how the wounds can actually attract a partner and keep us in a toxic relationship, which a toxic relationship, it's a relationship where the patterns are playing us and there is no consciousness, no evolution.
Yeah.
So there are a few books.
And sorry, I found it quite important to mention this, is that the book of Women Who Love Too Much, because there's a fundamental difference between men and women. Women, for us, for example, in Taoism, we have 3 tension, and the tension for the woman, which is a center, it's on the heart. And we always have this maternal, like Mother Earth, there's always this nourishment. We always crave and long to love somebody. We crave to give this love, to share ourselves with someone else deeply. And men, they're afraid of that. Because women, first, we are changed by nature. We always go around and changing with like the wind in a way, to some extent. And men, this is what they're the most afraid of. So when we start changing, or when there's too much love that they can't handle, they will start being afraid. And they will say, oh, sometimes they will say, oh, you're too much. Women were never too much.
Yes.
It's more that I heard one of my friends saying, like her lover was saying, can you just dim a little bit? There's too much love. I can't handle it. Can you love yourself more? That's why I can show you actually a lot of men I hear from saying, can you just love yourself a bit more? Can you just not be happy by yourself a bit more? It's because we have this craving, and that's why it's important for us as women as well to understand that sometimes for men it's too much to handle, and we can actually love ourselves and not necessarily put everything on the other person, because I know a lot of women trying to they love so much, but when it comes to themselves, they don't know what to do and how to do. So it's very important to love ourselves. And every time you should go into a relationship, for example, when I went in a relationship with Alex, straight away I told him, if you love me more than you love yourself, it's not gonna work. Because I was married before I divorced, and it was very unhealthy relationship. And I didn't want this neediness. I didn't want this unhealthy relationship. And I wanted my freedom more than anything else. I wanted to feel free, do whatever I want, and not having kind of a burden in a way, because I felt this way. But not everybody feel this way, but I did. So for me, it's important that in a relationship, we're independent and not to avoid codependency. And because when we become codependent, then a lot of issue arises as well.
All right. I'm aware of my subconscious wounds and traumas, but I struggle with actually changing underlying beliefs like self-worth. And how do we change this? So yeah, we all struggle with that, because the belief system is created when we are young. Like when we are between 0 and 3, we are like recording machines. We don't filter anything. We are in a theta state and gamma state and alpha state in a different parts of our childhood, and we are like camcoders. We record everything. And those, they go deep into our subconscious, and then we become more into the beta state as adults. And so one is through meditation. So I mentioned you the alpha, gamma, and theta psychic states, like the brain waves. So we can go into meditation. We can go into yoga, actions that are relaxing us. We can go into affirmations, like Louise Hay. She built an entire career based on the positive affirmations. And from my own experience, I create subliminals with my own voice, with the affirmations that I want to have in my life.
With your own voice?
With my own voice, yes. I use this Audacity. I change, I can tell you the technicality to that. So that the positive affirmations are not only like these slogans, oh yeah, I'm all is well, and like I feel very hurt inside, but we actually write the beliefs directly into the subconscious. So if you are interested, look, contact us at info@kamasundari.com, and we can give you a lot of tools to rewrite your belief system.
Yes.
It is the most rewarding and also the most challenging part to rewrite our subconscious. And one of the easy one is experience. So when we experience a new experience, it will rewrite our subconscious.
So I can give a very good example on the self-worth, because I have the same actually with my body. For basically my entire life, I always had a bad image about my body, like I guess many people's. And me being naked was something very challenging. It was very hard for me to be comfortable being nude. And one day, out of nowhere, I'm usually the type of person who likes challenges. When we challenge me, this is where I feel kind of alive. And a lady contacted me and asked me, because I teach also Qigong, some in my Taoist path. And she asked me, Natalie, would you like to teach Qigong for the naturist community? I'm like, first question, naturist, hold on, do I have to be naked? Do I have to be nude? And she said, but yes, of course you have to. Well, it's a naturist community. It took me like a few hours to think about it. I'm like, I feel super uncomfortable doing that. It was well paid, so in a way as well. So I was like, okay, still well paid in a way, and I can still go out of my comfort zone. And I took my courage into hands, and I said, do you know what? If people have to judge me, they will judge me anyway. What do I lose? Nothing. And who judged me more than I judge myself anyway? Nobody, just me. And I said, you know what? If I feel uncomfortable, let's go. And I went there, and like the whole time I was like, oh my God, I hope they were not perv. I hope they will not be like only this type of people. And I was a bit anxious in a way. So this is how to rewrite my belief system. I always take on challenges, and I always go out of my comfort zone. When I feel uncomfortable, this is where the gold mine is. Every time I feel resistance, I know that this is where I should go. And I do this continuously all the time. So I went there, and I saw only old men, as I thought it would be. But it was a very judgmental thing. Mm. But it was such a wonderful experience. And actually, she kept calling me every week to teach. And I created such a wonderful, basically, relationship. And then I didn't care anymore. I was just nude. And not only this, we were in public places. We were at the beach where people would walk around and judge. And at first I was like feeling still embarrassed, and they were like, oh my God, people just staring at all this weirdo practicing Qigong naked at the beach. Mm. And I started actually feeling more comfortable. And now more and more, I started doing some self-affirmation, as Alex talked about. Every morning when I was waking up, I had issue, for example, I have the small breast, and I was like, okay, let's make peace with my body. And I was talking to myself, like I'm talking to myself, oh, I love you so much, you're so wonderful. And I was touching my breast, and I was like, I love you so much, you're so wonderful. And this is how you can actually make peace. Doesn't matter what with, for example, it can be your belly, it can be your legs, it can be your toes, your fingers, your face, your hair. It can be anything, or you can talk to your whole body. I love you so much, and oh, my hair, oh, I love them so much. You're so beautiful, you're wonderful, you're amazing, you're wonderful. And I did it actually every single day for 49 days. But you can do it as long as is needed. So this is a way that I actually use to change my and to rewrite my belief system. Every time I feel uncomfortable, sometimes, like we went through a situation that involved a lady that he was involved with. And I was very jealous at some point. And basically, I went out of my comfort zone. I said, it doesn't matter. I will make peace with her. I will just make peace with her, and I will go back to her. And yeah, it's like always like I think I'm trying to put word on what I felt. It's like you had a burden, because everything that is happening in our mind creates heaviness in our aura, in our energetic field. So all this like creates some weight. And that's why sometimes when you go around certain people, you say, I don't think I want to be near this person, because you feel something, but you don't know how to explain. It's come from this aura. So when we lift all this, and this is what I'm actually trying to do, every time I feel some weight on me, I'm trying to lift. I always go beyond. Like if I'm feeling uncomfortable with this person, I'm going to go and talk to this person, or any situation. Oh, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid that they're going to judge me. Okay, let's go. And every single time I do that, and it always pays off. Yes, it requires courage, but sometimes it took me 1.5 months to actually put actions. So it doesn't have to happen in one day. Again, it's a journey that we do. Yeah. So it's really an advice that I give. If you want to improve any aspect of your life, every time you feel resistance and uncomfortable, go for it.
Yeah. And I can't stress the value of making the subconscious conscious.
Yes.
It's like, doesn't matter what spiritual path you are taking, if you don't look into your own subconscious, the patterns will become spiritual patterns. So this is very important, and I'm dedicating my life to helping people, and we are dedicating our life to helping people to discover their subconscious and becoming conscious.
And usually we do this actually in a live workshop, not online. Online is a bit difficult, but we will work a lot with the pattern and subconscious. And we used to do this in Ireland. Now we moved to Denmark. And hopefully when it's possible, we will run again the workshop based on this. So basically being through body movement. So it's a type of psychology, but through the body. So we move the body in certain ways to bring all this to the surface. So we hope to be able to do this soon again.
Hopefully, God help us. And how I like to call our method is like you take the Carl Jung books and you dance on them, or you move Carl Jung in motion. Anyway, let's focus on the question.
Yes, okay. So
may I ask? I had to join half hour late. Yes, you will have access to the recording. I don't have your email addresses, so
I think I have.
So
who asked?
Anna.
Okay. So if you want to write, all of you write the email address, so we can send the
You can write
recording.
it privately to us if you don't want to share with everyone your email. But if you give us the email address, I'll send you the books. I'll send you the recording, and also I also shared with you the training, so the BU and Feel Good training. So what I did, I took the Lise Bourbeau book, which enlightened me in the moment I read it, and in the same time left me frustrated because she didn't give me a practical solution. How do I get out of the wounds? Okay, now I know them. Now, how do I get out? She wrote a chapter in the end, like, okay, do your spiritual practice. And I'm like, right. Thank you so much. So I was actually frustrated to find out about the wounds and can't do anything about it. So I created this book to give more insight into that and give practical methods to get out of the wounds.
So let's do in the order because you started it down. So
Yeah.
Ida was saying that French equal aggressive drivers. So because she's been in my car, she was very afraid when I was driving. It's not about we are aggressive drivers. It's just that we have a very nice control of the cars and we know what we do.
It's okay. Don't take it personally.
I don't take it personally. She knows me. So Vitu, I love this open and creativity part. Beautiful. Life is a lila. Yes, life is a play. Exactly.
Yes.
We have to play and dance with life.
Yes, exactly. Sweet couple. Thank you so much.
So Ida, again, we have God's creation in us. So it's such a shame that we let our emotional wounds take away this great pure potential, which is manifested in all of us by saying we are not worthy. Yes.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. So we have to, like one of the methods I give in the book, Be Well, Feel Good, is samyama, is the identification. So am I identifying myself with the little child who has been abandoned, or am I identifying myself with the divine masculine? It's my choice. So basically, if we choose to be the victim, nobody can help us. But if we choose to identify ourselves with the divine in us, nobody can stop us. So
and everything in life is actually a choice. So it doesn't matter if we don't make a choice, it's still a choice not to make the choice. So as you said, we all have this divinity, this divine spark in us. It's a choice. Either you keep it and you realize that you are actually like this, or you decide to stay in the state of being not worthy of anything. So it's just a state that we choose to be. Like sometimes I'm sad or I'm depressed, or I'm just normal thing. I have the tendency to be lazy, for example. So if I stand in this state of laziness, or do something about it. It's your choice. Sometimes I decide to be lazy. Nothing wrong with that. And sometimes I have to do things and I have to change and being more in the action part. So everything is a choice, and not all choices are bad.
Yeah.
But when it comes to self-worth, this is not that necessarily good.
So
for Abba, you wrote a direct message. Can we say it out loud, or was it private? If you don't mind, because you wrote it private.
While Ava is clarifying that with you, I will read Anu's
Anus.
Yeah, we can always choose a higher action. Yeah, we can choose a higher action, and the inner child will still be there. It's about habit. If we choose a higher action once, twice, 10 times, 100 times, the inner child will, the wound will diminish because the habit will be towards the higher action, and the resonance will be created according to our action. So that's one way to do it. By conscious action, we take a conscious action, and then we learn a new habit and we create a new resonance. And then the old resonance will just disappear. Now, if you feel that your inner child is still there and the inner child has needs, you need to fulfill the needs of the inner child. So not take the higher action, but go and nourish the inner child. That's another method to, but then you need to understand what the inner child needs in that moment and give the nourishment that the inner child needs. So you can do it both ways. And I do it both ways. Earlier, my inner child needed a hug. I said, I need a hug. So I choose based on how I feel and how, what works for me in the moment. Did Ava answer?
Yes, she did.
She said yes. All right, so go ahead.
So maybe Scott, bring awareness to the person or situation that created this. Maybe also bring awareness to the person or situation that created this idea of low self-worth. Yes, you can. So again, if we have enough awareness about ourselves, we will be able to detect the pattern on the other. So sometimes when he behaves in a certain way and say, stop this pattern. Now you're a child, now you're like this, now you're like that. And we bring this into awareness. So this person can say, oh my God, that's true, it's like that. Okay, let me deal with that, or let's do something together. It doesn't matter how you want to to do this. But yes, definitely. Sometimes I used to blame my parents. For example, I would say, for example, my mother, because she kind of conditioned me in hating men in a way, because she was always saying, you know, men, they just want to make love, they just want to this, blah, blah. So she kind of conditioned me since I'm a child in a certain way. And yeah, so you can make this person aware, no, this is your prediction. So at some point when I became adult, I started my healing process with my mother, and I started saying everything that I never tell her, everything that was in my heart, everything, even what's not true, but that was my truth. And this is what we need to understand. It's like in any relationship, in between lover, between family or friends, it's always good to tell what you feel. It doesn't mean, again, that it's true, but this is our truth. This is my perception, my point of view. And then the person can give another perception on this. So for my mother, it was her experience, and so on and so forth. So
yeah,
it's good to voice it. So if you are with someone and you detect the patterns, yes, open up and bring awareness into this person.
Yeah, and
if the person is open, obviously, as well.
Exactly. So if you are in a conscious relationship and you are both open to grow, absolutely bring it on. I invite Natalie to tell me how I fuck up. You know, like, I need to know, because if she doesn't tell me, I will continue doing the same thing to her without even knowing I'm hurting her. So I need to know that. The art of being in this is to be in the heart, to be connected with the heart. Like John Wineland says, when you tell us, please don't disconnect from your heart when you tell us, because we do have, as men, even though we are big, muscular, whatever, bold, we do have the inner child. So and most of us is wounded, so we need to feel that love coming from the divine feminine, and then we can take, when we feel love, we can take also the criticism, because this is how we grow as men.
And there's one thing as well. It's like for us women, because it's a woman who has the questions. We usually, for a lot of women, we tend to be harsh when someone does a mistake, especially our lover. We tend to be harsh. There's nothing wrong with that. But men usually, the way they are is that they crave to feel the divine feminine, as Alex mentioned. Men want to feel the vulnerability. They want to feel your heart. They want to feel that they can be there, that they can protect you, that basically that they can be your hero. And if we open fully our heart and show fully our heart, they melt. They just want to see every single aspect of ourselves, basically. And when we just want to play the strong woman, which is a role that I do very well, and I learned actually with time to open to my vulnerability, because I'm very sensitive. So I learned with time to be this way, and it works much better than anything else. If you want to open a man, you have to open yourself.
Yeah. If you show us your vulnerability and your pain, and we see you crying when we are not present, we'll become present.
Yeah.
If you shout at us, we go in the defensive mode. And well, of course, depends on the man, how conscious we are. Like, I know when a woman shouts at me, I know she's in pain. And I do have a training for men to teach them how to do that. But most of men, including myself, sometimes I'm like, she's shouting at me. I feel so uncomfortable in my inner wounded child. I want to go there and cry. So it's better when you show us your hurt, your pain through tears, like through words. Baby, you hurt me. With that, you hurt me. And then we don't want to hurt you. We definitely don't want to hurt you. So then we will come back to you with love. So, yeah. I guess we finished with the questions. Thank you for all the compliments and for all the thanks.
For those who want the books, the list of the books, we will send it to you. Again, if you put your email address, we will send you the recording plus the list of the books.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, was it with registration to? Because if the Zoom was not with registration, we don't have your email address. So
no, it was not. It was an open link. So
all right. So it was an open link. So now we have some of your email addresses. So the ones who send the email addresses will send you the books, we'll send you the recordings. For the ones who don't want to share or don't have time to share the email, write to us at info@kamasundari.com and ask for the recording. We'll send it to you. Ask for the books or any other questions you can ask.
So just to answer to Abba as well, when she was saying about the childhood, the one created as a child, yes. So to the example of my mother, yes, she was thinking she was protecting me. The parents always do what they think, not only parents, everybody around us, even the lover. Oh, I do this because I love you. Even though it doesn't make you happy, but it is the best for you. So it's a way of loving, and we usually don't necessarily agree with that, but it's a way of showing love. So yes, my mother, she was thinking that she was protecting me, while actually she didn't know that it actually messed me up in a way. I had a lot of work to do on this.
Yeah, it's not necessarily messing up.
Joking,
it is the way, the parents, they always do their best. Okay. The best is what they know in that moment. Obviously, her mother wanted to protect her, but she wanted to protect her from her own experience.
Of course.
Not from her experience.
And again, as I was mentioning at the beginning, everything we do is through our own reality, our own story, and our own projection. We all have filters. Yeah. So yes, that was her projections.
Yeah, and actually, I hope that the men in your life want to make love with you. I mean, it's nothing wrong in men wanting to make love. It's the way she put it. Yes. Men only want to make love. Oh. Not only, we want to eat as well.
And to sleep.
So it's definitely not true. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So we got, we're going to stay connected again for sometimes. If you have any questions, you can actually even unmute yourself, or you can send again some questions through the chat.